chapter Force.
This slide presents the overview of the chapter. Learning objectives. By the end of this chapter, you will be able to
understand the idea of force and its effects, define force, friction, tension, and pressure, differentiate the contact and non-contact forces, explain the force of friction, identify the direction of net force in a given situation, discuss the change in effects of force with area of contact, draw free body diagrams, identify the effects of force.
Introduction. Before entering into the chapter, follow the instructions shown on the screen. Click each tab to know more.
In lower classes, we studied about the changes around us, like changes in seasons, changes during sunrise and sunset, changes in tides of sea, etc. Similarly, we have also learned how objects move. Do you know what are the reasons behind these changes? How can we decide whether an object is moving faster than the other? Let's find out the answers to these questions in this chapter.
क्लास में पीछे वाले बेंच पे बैठ के मजा तो बहुत आता है, पर पढ़ाई बिल्कुल नहीं होती। एक चीज करो, इंस्टॉल वेदांतु's ऐप।
Let us consider some of our everyday experiences such as running, catching a ball, hitting a ball with a bat, goalkeeping, jumping, etc. Similarly, when we open a door, we put an effort on the door knob with our hands either to push the door forward or pull it backwards. Actions like picking, opening, shutting, kicking, hitting, lifting, flicking, pushing, pulling are often used to describe certain tasks. In all such activities, we are changing the state of motion of some object. That is, either the object is made to come to rest or to move faster or to change its direction of motion. These actions usually result in some kind of change in the motion of the object. Let us know about the types of forces. Forces exist in nature that affect the movement of humans. A common classification is contact and non-contact forces. Force at a distance or field force. Force on account of direct physical contact between two interacting objects is known as contact force. The force which occurs without any physical contact between two objects is known as a force at a distance or field force. Let us know about the contact forces. Contact forces are those forces which act only when objects are in physical contact with each other and bring about necessary changes. The following are types of contact forces. They are muscular force, frictional force. Click each tab to know more. In all the actions that we perform in our daily life, like brushing, bathing, eating, writing, and walking, we have to exert a force. The force which we exert by using our body muscles is known as muscular force. All animals and human beings use their muscles to do work. The muscles exert force on the object that brings its motion. Muscular force can also change the speed of moving bodies. Muscular forces can be exerted only through contact. A ball moving on the ground comes to rest after moving through some distance. A vehicle comes to rest once its engine is switched off. We know that some force is required to stop a moving body. Therefore, some force must be exerted by the ground on them to stop them. This force is called the frictional force or the force of friction. We can define friction as follows. When two surfaces slide over each other, the force which opposes this motion is called friction. As the force of friction arises when the surfaces of two objects come in contact with each other, it is called a contact force. Let us know about the non-contact forces. Some forces do not involve physical contact between the bodies on which they act. They act through the space between them. Such forces are called non-contact forces or forces acting at a distance. The following are the types of non-contact forces. They are magnetic force, electrostatic force, gravitational force. Click each tab to know more. The force exerted by a magnet on iron objects is called magnetic force. The force which results due to the repulsion of similar charges or attraction of opposite charges is called electrostatic force. For example, a charged balloon attracts the pieces of paper. Newton's law of universal gravitation states that any two bodies in the universe attract each other with a force that is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Now, let us perform an activity to observe the motion of a ball on different surfaces. Click each tab to know more. Take a ball. Roll it on different surfaces like carpet, rough roads, smooth floor. Observe the motion of the ball on different surfaces. We observe that the motion of the ball is different in each case. Finally, we learned that the force of resistance to the motion seems to be more on the rough surfaces than on the smooth surfaces. The rolling ball moves faster on a smooth marble floor than on a rough sandy surface. Now, let us perform an activity to observe motion of the objects on an inclined plane. Click each tab to know more. Take a tray. Take a small ice cube, a razor, and a rupee coin. Place them on a line at one end of the tray. Now slowly lift this end of the tray. Observe their motions. In this activity, we observe that the ice block reaches first, the coin reaches later, and finally the rubber reaches the ground level. Finally, we learned that the friction is the resistance to the movement of a body over the surface of another body. We also learned that